Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you for joining me here on January 3rd. And before I get into all this, I just want to take a moment to say big thank you to all you guys who've been watching, subscribing, supporting throughout the months here. Past 90,000 subscribers, and I'm shooting for 100,000 within the first year, so getting close. But anyway, let's talk about the news today. Nothing too spectacular or extravagant, but I do have a few warnings on Q stuff floating around I've seen that I want to discuss. I want to tell you guys about a theory of mine regarding these weird planes turning around and whatnot in the sky, and we'll talk about a few other things we'll get to. But first, I want to show you a picture of this guy. This is a reporter on Fox News just a few days ago doing a skit on the UFO subject floating around, but check it out. He's got his whiteboard. These guys look like they're taking notes, right? That's all I just wanted to share with that one. Cracked me up. Someone sent me this. Fox News using a whiteboard for their UFO reports, right? Wonder where they got that idea. But anyway, first thing I want to talk about in regards to Q at least is this right here. So board owners announcement on 8chan. The Q's trip code has been, the first one is cracked. Obviously that happened a few weeks ago. The current one is close to being cracked, it says here. So basically, what I just want to note is that the last official post from Q that we know of was on Christmas. So whatever you see floating around by people or persons claiming to be Q, probably fake. They are fake. So I just want to throw that warning out there. And then also, I've seen this idea floating around today that Q is supposedly some university professor named Monty, and Q has been debunked by some people, and I don't think that's the case at all. You know, I'm not going to get too far into that, but just want to let you know that I think that's BS. So those two things I want to make noted first. Next, let's get into some more plane news. So we had another flight that was forced to turn around, a Delta flight from Atlanta to London last night that was forced to turn around twice. And apparently it was forced to turn around from what they call loud banging noises. Okay? But here's the thing. So I want to get into my personal theory that I was working on this morning. I'm like, kind of makes a little bit of sense, and I'll share it with you guys. So we have this flight, right, that was turned around twice last night, going from ATL to London. It was a Delta flight. Not only that, but we had this flight turn around a few days ago on New Year's Eve, December 31st, and a Delta flight had to turn around because a bird got into the cockpit. This one is actually heading into Atlanta. Now, it should be noted here that Atlanta is the home base for Delta operations, but this one had a bird in the cockpit and it turned around. Another Delta flight. Also, remember that huge power outage that occurred at Atlanta Airport a couple weeks ago? Again, Delta has their home operations in Atlanta, and this was a huge blackout around the Delta terminals. Now, not only that, but what I saw during this debacle, during the Atlanta power outage, was a very interesting Snapchat. This was posted on the conspiracy Reddit pages. I want to share it with you guys because you can see here, I can't pause it. It's just going to keep looping, and I don't know why this thing's kind of in the way. I hope you can see this. There we go. But look, so there were actually black SUVs on tarmacs and somebody looking like they were getting arrested off of a plane during that Atlanta airport debacle. Well, here's the thing. Delta, and I read this somewhere, is that Delta is the only airline that's actually stepping up to the issue of human trafficking. Delta employees encouraged to hashtag get on board to end human trafficking. And this is the only airline that's doing this, right? So here's my theory. And again, I don't think this to be the truth. Could be, might not be. I don't claim anything I say to be the absolute, right, bar none truth. I just put the dots together and I say, hey, this looks like what's going on. This looks like to be, right, what I'm seeing as the way of things. What if Q, or I shouldn't say Q, what if the alliance per se is in with Delta? And I'm going to reference this Q post, the very last one we had. It says Delta right here, right? Now, a lot of people had different theories on what this means, and there's multiple plausible ones. Some people said, oh, you know, there's a Delta quarantine area at Guantanamo Bay. Okay, maybe that's the case. But what if Delta, maybe it's the CEO, maybe an exec, or maybe the company is in with our guys, and whenever somebody boards a Delta plane, it pops up. Whenever the beep-doop thing happens, right? Beep-doop. It pops up on someone on our guys' monitors, and it says, "Oh, there's somebody boarding this Delta flight right now that we want to nab." And they alert Delta. Delta alerts the pilot of the flight, and then they go and nab the guy, or whatever the case is. That's just a working theory I have. Could be, right? So whenever a VIP or a person of interest is on a Delta flight and it pops up on the monitor, then they make some excuse, whether it's a bird or a noise, turn the flight around, and they get the guy. Who knows? Just keep that in your minds. But hey, thanks Delta for stepping up to the issue of human trafficking. I appreciate that. Now I want to talk about just a few other things. Senator Orrin Hatch retiring at the end of his term. So we have another senator dropping like flies. But bad news is that Mitt Romney is considering running for Hatch's seat if the senator retired. So that's not a good thing if you know about Mitt Romney. Another piece of news, Chelsea Clinton. Not sure if you saw this, but Chelsea Clinton was literally in a Twitter conversation with the Church of Satan. And not only was it Chelsea Clinton, but also Chrissy Teigen. Really, really weird. But in 2017, Clinton says, Church of Satan and I were put on a few threads together. In 2018, it's Hooters. What a time to be alive, Chrissy. And check it out. Church of Satan responds, the never-ending excitement here is never-ending. Chelsea Clinton, it's been so long. Happy New Year. Replying to the Church of Satan. What the hell is this? Right? I don't even know. Some people are saying, oh, the good guys hacked Clinton's Twitter page and now they're making things obvious. And could be, might not be. Chelsea Clinton just might be lady ballsy with this one. But I've seen a lot of pictures now circulating of Clinton wearing the upside down cross, which indicates interesting symbolism there. But man, it's just blatant right here. Very odd. Next, we're going to get into some news on Huma Abedin. So not only was Donald Trump lighting Abedin up on his Twitter page, but Huma Abedin forwarded top secret passwords to Yahoo account by Russian with odd Clinton connection. According to, and this was posted by Luke Rozaik of the Daily Caller. And the Daily Caller was actually the only news outlet that reported on these Clinton tweets. So, Daily Caller, Chelsea Clinton, I'll bring it up here. All right, Daily Caller was the only news outlet reporting on Chelsea Clinton wishing the Church of Satan a happy new year. So Daily Caller is doing some good stuff. Luke Rozaik there reporting on Huma Abedin. Speaking of Huma Abedin, I want to show you guys this. So this picture I saw floating around the chans, and it looked like somebody did some great investigative work here. But check out Huma Abedin's ankle. What is that? What is that right there looking like to you? I mean, she's not wearing a boot, but she is wearing some bell bottoms, trying to make those come back in style. So notice the sharp edges somebody put down here in the postscript. You can make out the bottom of the device in the left edge. Look at that right angle there. So is Huma Abedin being monitored now? Could be. I wouldn't doubt it. So there's that fancy piece of news. Fusion GPS co-founders deny the dossier triggered an FBI probe. So the New York Times, you know about the New York Times. You know how bad they are. Don't believe their shit. So the New York Times published an op-ed saying that the firm, basically the Fusion GPS co-founders, calling them conspiracy theories surrounding their motives and backers. And of course, you know, just look at his face there. They're just trying to do some damage control. Well, NBC News defended this news article, bring it up by True Pundit. NBC News defends bogus New York Times Trump-Russia story, to which then WikiLeaks drops hundreds of emails proving widespread NBC collusion with Hillary. Good stuff there. And if you saw my video yesterday, I mentioned some things regarding to Assange and actually how Assange's mother is going to be giving an interview tomorrow on some community radio program. But quite interesting. Assange still doing work, and there's some theories floating around that Assange is on a naval vessel being protected right now. You know, could very well be, but I think a lot of things are going to come out by way of WikiLeaks this month. So it'd be quite interesting. And last thing I want to share with you guys here is this article got sent to me. Last topic. Two more things I want to share with you guys. Last topic is on the secret technology, secret projects, space programs. So this article was sent my way. It's by Zero Hedge. It says DARPA is building a flying aircraft carrier. But before you let this trigger your imagination too much, it's basically just discussing how a C-130 is going to be basically a flying mothership for drones. So nothing Black Project, nothing advanced, nothing secret space program based. It's not even in space. Just a flying aircraft carrier. But this does stimulate some good imagination. Although I was also sent this video by Alex Jones this morning. And think what you want about Alex Jones. You know, he's himself hitting his target audience. But this was interesting to me, is what he was discussing. President Trump considering declassification of secret technology. And literally in this video, for a few minutes here, Alex Jones, surprising the crap out of me actually, surprised me heavily what he was discussing. He was actually mentioning how for 50 years, by his words, these are his words, for 50 years, in Black projects, they've had amazing technologies. He actually mentioned breakaway civilization. He said those words in this video here. And he was discussing how President Trump, could just declassify it all. And he was discussing also how the cabal or the deep state has been hoarding these technologies to themselves. So it blew my mind, right? Blew my mind how Alex Jones is discussing this. And who knows why? Who knows what words or contacts may have gotten him to do this bit on his radio program. But also what stimulated my curiosity here is the wording he used in the description. So it says, will President Trump release government-held knowledge of advanced, look at the word here, terrestrial technology? All right, let's discuss this. So, of course, Alex Jones is, like I said, hitting his target audience. So he's not going to get into the extraterrestrial subject and yada yada. But by simply using the word terrestrial, why would he use that word terrestrial? It's as if he's subtly stimulating people's consciousness to think extraterrestrial. It could be. Who knows? But let's also talk about these anti-gravity technologies, okay? Now, a few people, I should say a few Earth-based, a few terrestrial scientists, yes, have delved into anti-gravity technologies. T. Townsend Brown, for instance. But most knowledge of anti-gravity and zero-point free energy technologies in the Black projects have come from extraterrestrials. They've come from the reverse engineering of downed craft, whether it was a downed craft in the Los Angeles incident in 1942, or it was a downed craft from, for instance, Roswell. A lot of these technologies have come from the reverse engineering of such. Also, there has been assistance of the assistance with developing these technologies by different extraterrestrials. You can look into the testimony of William Tompkins. He was actually discussing how the Nordics were directly assisting Douglas Aerospace and the Navy to develop various anti-gravity, electrogravitic technologies and spacecraft. So that's just some backstory. That's just a little bit of information about why that's a very interesting word usage, that little word. Terrestrial. Yes, anti-gravity is terrestrial. Some is, but a lot is not. A lot comes from ET help. So for him to say terrestrial, it's as if he's saying it but not saying it. He's hitting, his audience and subtly getting them to think about these things. But moral of the story is President Trump considering declassification of secret technologies. I surely hope so, right? On one end, and I've said this many times, the most important things that need to be disclosed, I would say, are two things. One, pedogate, human trafficking, the Luciferian connections and symbolism and just nasty stuff, what the dark occult elite do. And two, the technologies that have been locked away in unacknowledged special access programs for 60, 70 years. Two most important things to disclose to humanity. So I surely hope that President Trump is considering declassifying these secret technologies. Keep in mind, President Trump's uncle, John G. Trump, was the man who headed the FBI's taking of Nikola Tesla's papers upon his death in New York in 1943. So this being said, right, what does President Trump know? What has he been read in on? What kind of secrets were passed down the family lineage, or what kind of connections does he have to know about these secret acts, these secret technologies, these secret space programs? I don't like to say secret space programs sometimes because a lot of these technologies are made underground. But, it also goes to note that President Trump surrounded himself with a lot of Navy admirals, still does. And the Navy has quite a few secret space programs. So who knows? Who knows what he's been read in on? But anyway, that's all for this one, guys. Thank you. Thank you all for your support, for your help, for watching, for sharing, for liking, for commenting. The ones who've commented nice things. I see a lot of trolls are beginning to infest these feeds, whether they're just paid bots or people trying to distract me or get some BS out there, right? Argue. I see you. I see you guys. Anyway, have a wonderful one, guys. I'm going to actually, I've been planning to do a video on anti-gravity technologies on the whiteboard, bringing the whiteboard back. So we'll see what, we'll see if Fox News does their whiteboard again, right, guys? Anyway, take care. Have a good one.